All righty. Righty. Hello, Drew.
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How's Colorado?
Oh, it is spicy out here in Colorado. The sun is shining. It's about 20 degrees Fahrenheit, but we are at Thrive Co-working today for a team co-working day, and we have Russell here, we have Kieran here. The only person we're missing is you, and actually there's a lot of people that we're missing, but
Yeah.
uh, you know. But yeah, what's going on? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I wish I could have come and enjoyed and joined everyone, but here we are, and now I'm a little more healthy, and we'll be good to go. So I'm excited about today. It's kind of crazy to me that we are here. We are back, getting ready to biddle. Um, Given that this is year 6 for me, so kind of fun to see kind of the full circle of how the ETHDenver 2023 wrapped, and now here we are back at ETHDenver 2024, and I think we're like what 43, 40 some days away from people actually starting to biddle. So it seemed like this was probably a good idea to start talking about what does the bidathon look like, what does mentorship look like, what does judging look like, what does community look like for ETHDenver 2024. So I'm excited to have you here to join on. I think this is the second season of Raise Your Sporks, and so really this is just a insight into Biddleathon, into biddling, into ETHDenver, into how can people get plugged in. A lot of people will watch this later to understand things that are going in. But thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this, and it's going to be fun. Given that this is what year one for you, but you've been around in the community for a while. What are you most excited about?
I'm super excited about the scholarships. We have that link live on the website right now, but we have about $30,000 worth of scholarships to give away. And someone who's received scholarships for tuition in education, social economics should not be a barrier for anybody to attend East Denver. And we'd really like to help as many people as possible get to Denver this year. And we're here to support you. Come and hang out in our Discord, let us know what's up, and definitely apply to the scholarship. And you can find that right on our website. So super excited about scholarships.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people last year that I'm thinking about that actually won. So talk about full circle of like people being able to come to ETHDenver, they can learn how to biddle, they actually submit project, and then they get their reimbursement for their scholarship. So it's cool to kind of see that. But yeah, so
Right.
with
You
that,
could show up. You could show up on day one of Camp Biddle, not have any background in development, and in 6 days you could get yourself ready to submit to the Biddleathon, submit your project to the Biddleathon. Like, that's incredible.
yeah. So, well, what I want to do today is I want to kind of go through. I put together this presentation that goes through the information about the Biddleathon, best practices, and ways to get prepared as a bidler for ETHDenver 2024. So we've over the last couple months, we've been really working on refining the Biddleathon, taking the things that are working really well, finding the things that are not necessarily working as well, retooling it, making sure that it's going to be beneficial to both bidlers as well as to sponsors. So this is a very high level look at what the ETHDenver 2024 Biddleathon is going to look like. So from a schedule perspective, applications open today. And so you'll be able to go and apply to Biddle. So there's a separate application for that for this year. We'll talk about the links for that and how to go and apply. The biggest thing here is that you do have to have been accepted to attend ETHDenver 2024 in order to apply as a bidler. So there is a token gate part to that. Bidling, the actual act of building your project, the dates for that will range from February 23rd to March 2nd, 2024. So there's been some little slight changes in the schedule, and I'll talk about that here in an upcoming slide. So let's talk about how does the Biddle-a-thon actually work. Well, there's 4 stages to the Biddle-a-thon, and that's stage 1 is the biddlers really need to define what their goals are for the event, and then really start working on your project. So when I'm saying like defining your goals, some people come in where they want to focus on specifically on sponsor bounties. Some people want to focus on submitting multiple projects just to sponsor bounties. And then there are those that want to focus on a single project and they want to submit it to an ETHDenver track so that they can present in front of the entire community and be judged and have a good time. The second stage to this then is submitting your project. So once you've submitted your project, that then goes in front of the community judges. These are technical based demonstrations. Our community of communities, which John loves to talk about, opens up the door to allow anyone within the Sporkdown community to apply to be a judge. And then we organize them into specific panels. And then those people will judge the projects that are submitted to the ETHDenver tracks. The third part is something that we've always done. We've just maybe not done a really good job at like activating it. Is that this year we have the SporkDAO Community Project Fair. And in this creates a space for all community members that are part of SporkDAO to come participate on Sunday and vote for their favorite project that came out of the Biddle-a-thon. So this is a way to allow you to use your Spork to contribute in voting for which projects are the best out of the Biddle-a-thon that you want to contribute Spork to. And then the fourth and final stage of the Biddle-a-thon is really the top 15. So that's where we're getting into the best projects, presenting the best projects of each track. And then our expert judging panel will then pick the best of each track, and then we'll essentially end ETHDenver 2024. So very similar process to every year, except this year we're really trying to drive, we want community participation from SporkDAO members to participate in voting for the best projects that come out of the Biddle-a-thon. So kind of exciting. So the next thing about the main weekend is so that the main weekend for ETHDenver 2024 has changed a little bit. So at our size of an event, we have had a lot of people apply. We've had a lot of people submit projects. And when it gets to organizing the scheduling on Sunday, it can be a little chaotic. So we've this year split it up so that projects are now ending on Saturday, March 2nd at 10 a.m. And then this is going to open up the door for us to provide a couple different cool resources that we've come up with for this year. It's going to give sponsors the ability to focus on just allowing biddlers to come demonstrate their technology to them. It's going to open up this new idea that we have called the Biddler What's Next Mini Summit. A lot of biddlers that participate in the hackathon or the Biddle-a-thon can't go and attend all the talks that they want. So the mini summit are going to be talks really catered towards how do you take your Biddle-a-thon project and go to the next level. So maybe you want to take your Biddle project, turn it into a real startup. Maybe you want to take your Biddle-a-thon project and you want to use it as a example to demonstrate to a sponsor how you know how to code or how you know how to be a really good UI UX person. Or maybe you're just looking to continue to get plugged into the community. We'll have content around this, and it's kind of like that jump off to you finished your project. Now let's tell you how you can succeed after ETHDenver. And then that also opens up the door for us to really work on the big presentations in front of all the ETHDenver community judges. So we've kind of changed that up. So if you look at like my slide here, basically the flow of the day looks like Saturday, March 2nd, 10 a.m., you have to have your projects turned in on the platform. Then from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., there will be sponsor bounty presentations. So sponsors will be lined up all over across the Biddle floor. Biddlers that submitted to their bounties will go up to them, present their projects, and that's how sponsor bounties will work. We'll have more details on that as we keep moving. Then also during that 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. period, that's when the Biddler What Next mini summit is happening. So that's going to be this additional 12 hours of total content strapped across 3 stages, talking about how do you go from Biddle-a-thon to whatever's next for you. And then from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturday, that's when all the track judging will happen. So if you submit a project to an ETHDenver track and you want to present in front of the community, your project will be judged sometime between 2 to 8 on one of the 3 stages. So it's very. Have you ever been to Warped Tour, Drew?
Oh yeah.
So we kind of have taken that idea to where you have like one stage is like live, ready to go, and then on the other side of the stage, someone's set up, ready to go. So that way it's like quick turnaround. So with the amount of people that we have presenting projects to judges, we've implemented very similar tactics to where one team is set up doing their technical demo pitch to the judges, another one's set up, and then once they're done, the other one will start to go. So it allows us to get through more presentations in a faster way, and then it makes sure that we see everyone. Because if we take the numbers of what we had last year, we had 359 project submissions. We can tend to see about like 40-ish, 35 to 40-ish projects per hour per stage. We have 3 stages. So basically you'll end up presenting, if you submit a project to a track, sometime between 2 to 8 p.m. on the 2nd. Then by ending on Saturday, this is what also happens, is that it opens up the door for the community project fair to exist more independently on Sunday. So Sunday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., we have the community project fair. This is where the Sporks community members come and vote. During this time, there will also be other things happening within ETHDenver, specifically Buffacorn Ventures pitch off or pitch tech. And so that's a place for startups to be able to present their ideas to investors and that. So that will also be happening, but specifically for Biddle and Biddle Week, Biddle main event, it's community project fair. And then to end it all out, we have the top 15 judging that happens on Sunday, March 3rd from 2 to 5 p.m. So that's when we will have 5 additional judges or celebrity judges that come in, and they will be the ones judging the top 15 projects. And then from the top 15, we'll get down to the top 5. So the main event weekend shifted a little bit, but our hopes is that, one, it's going to create better stickiness and better connection between sponsors and biddlers and sponsors. It's going to open up the door so that biddlers get additional resources and insight into how to take their project from the Biddle-a-thon and actually take it into the mainstream world. So it should be really fun, really exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. We have 24/7 support of peers, mentors, stewards, sponsors. Like, it's like around the clock education, biddling, and just hard work. Like, where else could you get together in a collaborative environment with some of the best minds of our industry of Web3 and just, have fun and build cool stuff? Like, it's happening in Denver and you have to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And I'm actually going to talk about a little bit more of that stuff coming up here. So
Beautiful.
Let's talk about ETHDenver 2024 tracks, bounty categories, and team formation. So From a ETHDenver track perspective, there are 5 tracks this year. We had 5 tracks last year. They're very similar, but there have been some name changing and different directions. So track number 1 is the identity, privacy, and security track. This gets into focusing in on wallets, ZK rollups, on-chain privacy, auditing projects, security, software, everything, anything that might be related to that. So if you have a project that you're working on and you want to submit it, and that falls within that, you would submit your project to that. Second track is infrastructure and scalability. So this gets into more of the L1s, the L2s, the side chains, proof of authenticity, dev tools, anything within infrastructure scalability. There's a track around that. There's DAOs and communities. So if you're working on a project for DAOs and communities, you can submit there. So that gets into like digital communities, tokenomics, governance, bridges to Web3. There's some really cool projects that we saw last year come out of DAOs and communities. Then there's the impact and public goods. So this gets into UN sustainability development, public goods funding, refinancing, undeserved communities, anything that essentially helps the greater good of the ecosystem, whether that's Ethereum or it could be Polkadot, it could be Solana, it could be any chain. ETHDenver's not, we're not stuck to just Ethereum. We're an open environment. Everyone's welcome to come participate as long as it's about decentralization and blockchain. And then the 5th one for this year is the DeFi, NFTs, and gaming. So this gets into decentralized finance, DEXs, lending protocols, staking, digital art, PFPs. Let's see, like blockchain games, collectibles, wearables. So there's a lot of opportunity within that space as well. So if you're choosing to submit a project to present on a main stage at ETHDenver, these are the 5 different tracks that you'll choose from. And it's pretty fun. I would say I'll hold that thought because I actually am going to talk about it here in a little bit. All right. So let's talk about the sponsor bounty categories. So one of the really great things about ETHDenver is that our sponsors participate in the Bathon. This is in addition to what they're already doing for ETHDenver. So last year we had 185 different bounties available for bidlers. So there's a lot to choose from. Now, one of the things that we identified last year, and this was working with Matt Lockyer who was one of the past Biddle stewards, is we came up with 5 categories to organize the sponsor bounties in. We do this because we want to help you be able to identify the ones, the bounties that are probably most interesting to you. With, we had 6,000 people last year say that they were coming to Biddle. We had like almost 1,200 actually participate in the Biddle-a-thon. So this is our way of being able to help people identify which bounties are most relevant to them. So that could be a feature bounty. So if a sponsor wants you to integrate a new feature into their protocol or to their dApp, or they want to leverage some new idea, they might have bounties within that category. Maybe they're trying to get more people to launch a MVP on their testnet or mainnet. So there might be bounties specifically around utilizing their testnet or mainnet, and they want to see what you can do with your app. Then there are those that are like meaningful open source contribution focused. So we're really all about, we are big on public goods. A lot of what ETHDenver does from a tech perspective is also public goods. So we're utilizing it pretty frequently. So these are going to be bounties about using a sponsor's technology that allows other people within the community to use your tech. So there's been some pretty cool ones that I've seen come out from last year that I now use even for my role here at ETHDenver. So it's kind of fun to see how a project can go from here's a cool idea, let me solve a problem, and now I can actually use it in my everyday. Then there are those like early stage startups. So we do recognize that there will be teams that show up this year that are already in existence, and they're looking to maybe utilize a specific sponsor's tech. Maybe they're looking to get more noticed. So there's an entire category focused on like, what would it look like? Here's the bounty that you can work on at ETHDenver. And if you succeed at this, here are some additional grant opportunities. Here's some investment opportunities. And these are the milestones that you would need to reach. So we're trying to create a place to where you can come and participate, even if you're already a team and you want to be able to take your project to the next level. If a sponsor participates in this, they'll have clear guidelines on, this is how much you're going to get here at ETHDenver for building the thing. And then here are the milestones that you would have to follow up. And then you would be able to apply into those grant programs or investment programs or follow funding. And so it's been kind of fun to see. There were a handful of those last year, and some of those now are live. Actually, I think one of them is actually sponsoring ETHDenver now. So it's actually kind of cool to see the full circle. And then, yeah. And the last one is a new one for this year, is focused on Web3 security bounties. So we really want to create a space for those that are into like auditing secure smart contracts, finding bugs that are security related. We've obviously had some situations in 2023 that resulted in millions of dollars being lost, or so we're trying to create a space for sponsors to focus on Web3 security bounties. So that will be kind of a fun new one. I know that like we have a handful of sponsors that are security related. So it will be really fun and exciting to kind of see what those are going to look like for this year. But those are the categories for this year. Now, the new thing here is that we're going to talk about is team formation. So we've done some revisement to how team formation works for ETHDenver. So our preferred route is always going to be come into the Bathon, focus on one product, one project, be on one team, really work to solve that one use case or that problem that you're trying to solve. You can integrate up to 10 different sponsor bounties into that project. But we really want you to be focused, because we believe that by being focused, you can actually achieve more. It ends up becoming a better product, and a lot of those projects actually end up going on and getting additional funding. Now, with that said, we also recognize that there are other people that are attending ETHDenver that might have other ideas for why they might want to participate in the Bathon. So for this year, we're introducing the ability for allowing single-person people to participate in the Bathon. However, we do have some rules around what that looks like. If you want to participate in the Bathon and you just want to be by yourself, you don't want to present in front of the community on a stage, you don't want to work with teams, you just want to work on your skills, you want to just work on a single bounty, or maybe you want to work on multiple bounties, you now have the ability to create a team as yourself and then submit to up to 10 bounties on the platform. And then that's how you can participate. So I think there will be a handful of people, actually quite a few people, that might find that really enjoyable for this year. So that will kind of open up the door for some people there. Then there's this other part of, I want to work on multiple bounties. I want to submit multiple projects or multiple ideas. So one project might make most sense for one bounty, but there might be a completely different project that I want to submit that's related to a different bounty. We are opening up the ability to allow a team to be able to submit multiple projects. They still have the maximum capacity of being able to submit up to 10 bounties. But if you want to be able to submit one project that's focused on DeFi, and then maybe one project that is focused on infrastructure and scalability, you'll be able to do that within your one project on the platform. So you can choose, in this case, to be a team of 2 to 4 focused on submitting projects to sponsor bounties. You could be a team of 1 submitting to sponsor bounties, or you could be a team of 2 to 5 participating in submitting to the ETHDenver track, submitting up to 10 different bounties and presenting in front of the community. And one of the unique things there for the one focus project is that if you have one team member that is fully dedicated to UI UX, you can add it to your team. So that's the difference between a team of 2 to 4 and a team of 2 to 5, is that a team of 2 to 5, there has to be one person entirely focused on UI UX. And so we're hoping to see better projects come out of ETHDenver this year that have more refinement around the UI UX, especially if we want to be able to onboard the next million people into blockchain. So it should be, our hope is that this will open up the doors for more people to participate in the Bathon, to work on sponsors, bounties, as well as seeing an increase in the project submissions for ETHDenver 2024. All right. So let's do a couple tips here. Some success tips. So tip number 1, meet the deadlines. So BITL applications will close at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on February 23rd. So if you try to apply at 10:01, you'll have to go up to the team on the bounty floor to make a request to join the Bathon. So there is a way to do it, but the general formal applications will close on February 23rd at 10 a.m. Submitting projects. Now, this is the big one. And I know it's going to happen. It happens every year. The due date is going to be March 2nd at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. We're not going to extend it this year. We've done it every year to where we might extend it because someone runs into a problem. We have really worked on refining our mentorship program and helping make sure that bidlers are submitting ahead of time, that this isn't like a surprise at the end. So the deadline 100% this year is 10 a.m. If you submit at 10 a.m., we'll say 10 a.m. and 1 second, it will even be considered late. So it's very important to make sure that you're submitting and meeting the deadline. Tip 2, from a team formation choice perspective. Again, we have those 3 different ways to participate in the Bathon this year. You can be a solo builder, you could be a team of 2 to 4, or you can be a team of 2 to 5. You really want to come in and you want to really figure out what is best for you. What are your goals? If you're not sure what your goals are, come and ask a mentor. We'll have over 200 mentors available to help you ideate, come up with ideas, find you new team members. We're here to support you. We want you to be successful. You'll have a lot of resources at your beckon. Again, biddling alone is okay, but our hope is that you want to form teams. A big part of our ethos and our culture is really around collaboration and making sure that we're doing this together and not doing it alone. And again, if you choose to have a team of 2 to 5 and you add one person that's focused on UI UX, you get additional benefits by doing that. So there is some gamification to this a little bit. Tip number 3, consider all tracks and categories. So a lot of people come into the Bathon. They're like, I'm going to work on a project specifically for DeFi, or I'm going to work on a project for infrastructure or identity. Like, come in with your idea of what it is that you want to solve. Talk with mentors, talk with your peers, keep an open mind, because sometimes the track that you think is best, there might actually be a better track for you. One of the things that you also have to keep in mind is that one of our most popular tracks is the infrastructure and scalability. track. So there's a lot of people. I think we had over 85 projects just focused on that last year alone. So the competition in that can be a little bit higher than one of the other tracks. And the same thing is true for sponsor bounties, is that sponsors tend to have a lot of feature bounties, whereas they might have less on the some of the other categories. But that also can mean that there are more people working on that bounty, so that the competition for that specific thing might be a little bit higher. So come in with your ideas, talk with people, talk with mentors, figure out which one makes the most sense. Because you might end up finding out that it might make more sense to take your idea and apply it to, you know, DeFi, or maybe apply it to gaming, or apply it to public goods. Like there might be a better use case that a mentor or one of the Biddle team can help guide you to. So be open-minded. So that's the next one. Tip number 4, technical and specificity. That's a fun word. So judging this year is very technical focused. Judges are going to be looking for new ideas, and they're going to want to see, how did you get to that conclusion? How is your problem solving that? How is your idea solving that problem? One of the biggest mistakes that I see biddlers make year over year is that they try to cram too much into an idea, and then it's like all over the place. Or they do that because they're trying to come at this from like a business pitch perspective. Whereas like you could do that, but the way to really succeed is really focus on the technical. Judges are going to be looking for the technical pitch. They're not looking for the business or investor pitch. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And then drill down on your ideas. Tip number 5, focus on your UI and UX. So again, we're really going to be pushing this year. Find someone that's dedicated to working on UI UX. Invite them to be a part of your team. If you do that, you could have 4 people. So you could essentially have 4 developers on your project, and then have a UI UX person. So now you got that one additive bonus. We really want to be able to differentiate your projects across the spectrum. And then again, teams that focus on one project are able to add that one team member. Tip number 6, rounded teams matter. So it's entirely up to you how you want to form your team of 2 to 4 or 2 to 5. Our recommendation is to include like a front-end developer, back-end developer, a project manager / domain expert, the person that really knows about the pain that you're trying to solve, and then a UI UX designer. And again, if you come at this, that you want to approach this by focusing on one project, you could have 2 front-end developers, 2 back-end developers, and 1 UI, 1 UX. You could have 1 front-end, 2 back-end developers, and a project manager and a domain expert. Like, it's entirely up to you how you want to frame your team. But we are most definitely giving kudos to those teams that want to include that one individual person that is focused on the UI UX. Tip number 7. So this is preparing for payments. This is really important. All prize winnings that come out of ETHDenver is considered income. So we have really refined our process this year to be able to help biddlers with getting paid out by ETHDenver and by sponsors. So there's an entire KYC process. There's tax form submission process. And if you are a non-US resident, we strongly encourage you to apply for an ITIN if you do not already have it. The reason why you want an ITIN is that in many cases, most countries that are coming to ETHDenver, there is what is called a tax treaty, and that allows you to claim the taxes in your country instead of having to claim them in the United States. So we want you to be able to take 100% of your prize winnings with you to your country. The way to do that is with your ITIN. Otherwise, we have to go through the route of having you claim the prize tax money on the U.S. side. So an ITIN is your way to do that. And again, all this is automated and should be pretty swift and pretty easy for this year. All right, some general tips, and these are just based off of questions that I've been getting over the last couple weeks. Many bidlers that are coming to attend ETHDenver, they don't have a team. I want to say that based off of our current numbers of people that have applied, I know that there's at least 2,000 people that are coming to Biddle this year that do not have teams. So if you're a part of that group, go participate in mentor team formation sessions. They're there to help you create teams based off of ideas, based off of interests. Another big one, have a beginner's mindset. Be open to the idea of working with different types of people. Someone might have a different idea than you. You might have a different approach, but there's no reason why you can't work together. There were a lot of teams last year that someone had one idea, they pitched it to a group of people, but then they didn't find anyone that bought into their idea. So be open about it. Be open that some people might not be interested in your idea, and be open in the idea of maybe joining someone else's team. So being open is really kind of the way to succeed, because you're going to have a lot more opportunities that way. Make sure that your project submissions follow the outline. So there will be an outline provided to bidlers that says this is what should be included in your project submission. Include those things. One of those fun things that we recommended, it's not a requirement, is that you document your journey. Talk about your experience. Where are you getting stopped? Let sponsors be able to see your progression on how you made the decision that you made. In some cases, and I know that this happened at least 20 times, sponsors looked at projects that were submitted to their bounties, and then they ended up offering jobs to bidlers to come work for them because their bounty met some form of job requirement. And now those people have 6-figure jobs. So it's kind of cool. Utilize mentor lab sessions. So again, we have 200 plus mentors that are participating again this year. We're going to have special sessions set up, kind of like if you are a part of a university or you remember going through college, you had like class labs. You could show up and then there would be people there to support you, help guide you on how to learn something specific. We will have those types of sessions this year that focus on things like smart contracts, UI, UX, ideation, team formation, career advice. So our mentors are there to really be a big resource for you. A big one that tends to get forgotten, and this is going to be really important this year, is your short form demo and your long form demo. Make sure that when you are participating, that if you have that you're not working up to the deadline. So you want to make sure to give yourself some time to focus in on your demo. A lot of people that tend to scurry at the end and end up having the excuse of I didn't have enough time to submit my project is because you're focusing on submitting your project to the deadline. Whereas if you were to work on your demo ahead of time, and maybe kind of make that thing the thing that you're working on Friday, you'll end up finding that you'll have more time. So don't forget about your demo. And then the last thing is just use your mentors. Your mentors are there to help you succeed. All right, a couple of important dates. So ETHDenver applications open November 20th. Those will be available to you. You can go to ethdenver.com/apply, and that will allow you to apply to attend ETHDenver. Those tickets will remain available until they are sold out. Once they are sold out of Spork DAO member tickets, the only way in will be to purchase a ticket for $5.99 or a Spork Whale ticket for $2,500. So get on that. It's also important if you're going to participate in the you have to apply to that first and get accepted by the application process for bidding is open from today until February 23rd at 9:59 a.m. Once 10 a.m. happens, if you haven't yet applied and been accepted to Biddle, you will have to come down to the Biddle floor in Biddle Hub and make a request to be added as a biddler. Sponsor bounty reveals. So you won't find any bounties listed on ETHDenver's website or on the Biddleathon platform. We will make an announcement on February 19th at around, I think, 11 a.m., where we will talk about all the bounties that are now available for you. This will give you a week to basically read through all of them, figure out which ones make the most sense. And then come February 23rd at 10 a.m., you can officially start working on your project in Denver. Or if you are not arriving in Denver until, say, February 29th or March 1st, you can still work on your project at home, but you cannot start building until February 23rd at 10 a.m. Sponsor judging and community judging happens on March 2nd, 2024. The community project fair that happens on March 3rd, 2024, and the top 15 judging that happens on March 3rd, 2024. The cool thing, if you are a biddler, you can also subscribe to the calendar, and that will allow you to have all these dates added to your personal calendar. So the platform that we're using this year for ETHDenver 2024 is DevFolio. If you want to apply to a Biddle this year, this is the domain, ETHDenver2024.devfolio.co. That will allow you to apply to attend. We've used DevFolio in the past. We used them in 2019 and 2020. And this year they are making a comeback, and we will be using them. We've got some really cool features that we've been working on with the team, and we will actually have a separate Raise Your Sporks entirely focused on DevFolio, where we'll go into how do you form teams, how can you find team members, how can you submit projects, how can you do quadratic voting. We'll get into all that stuff in a special episode entirely focused on DevFolio. And then some Biddle related resources. If you're just looking for general information about the Biddleathon, you can go to ethdenver.com/Biddleathon. If you want to look at the preparation guide, there's an entire preparation guide on there. If you want more information about track judging and how that works, there's a very high level schedule on there. That way you'll have all the points that where you need to be. If you want information on how sponsor bounty judging works, there's a page focused on that. And then if you're coming to ETHDenver and you want to learn and you want to participate in Camp Biddle, we have a 9-day free boot camp that is taught by some of the biggest OGs in the space. That's entirely free to Sporkdown members. You just have to apply and be accepted. So if you go to the Camp Biddle page, there's an application button on there, and you can apply to attend. Now, if you are coming and you need financial assistance to be able to get to ETHDenver, we also have the ETHDenver scholarship program that Drew talked about at the beginning of this. So if you go to ethdenver.com/scholarship, there's information on there on how to apply. The scholarships this year have increased from $100 to $250 per applicant. There are requirements that you must meet, but this is our way to be able to support those that need some financial assistance or financial reassurance that they can get to ETHDenver. So applications for those are also open. Now, as far as getting in touch with the group for Biddle, there's a couple of different resources here. The best one is Discord. So if you go to discord.gg/SporkDAO, that is our community. That is where our mentors will be hanging out. There will be team formation mentorship opportunities coming up soon that we'll do virtually to help you guys meet people. There'll be ways to get plugged in and get connected. And so there'll be some announcements within the Discord. We also have a Telegram. I know it's not listed here, but the Telegram is also a resource that you can use to find teams. And then from an email perspective, all the email communication that will come from ETHDenver that's related to BIDL this year will come from one of three emails. It'll either come from support@ethdenver.com, BIDLX@ethdenver.com, or bountypayments@ethdenver.com. Bounty payments is obviously specifically, maybe it's not obvious, but hopefully it's obviously specific to that it's focused on payments. So that will be all post ETHDenver. If you won money, you'll receive emails from bountypayments@ethdenver.com. BIDLX will be anything related to just being a bidler, how to get more connected, and opportunities for there. If you have questions that you want answered, go to support.ethdenver.com. There are frequently asked question sections in there. And then you can also submit a ticket to ask a specific question, which will get routed to the right person on the BIDL team. But with that, Drew, that is all of my slides for kind of the introduction to what the BIDLathon looks like for this year. And we'll be going through more details about the BIDLathon, talking about the different tracks coming up in the coming weeks. So we'll have some special guests that come in, and really our hope here is just to kind of start to create some ideation ideas on how to succeed in the BIDLathon and how to have fun. And there'll be some cool, fun things. So is there anything that you can think of, Drew, that I might have missed in just the general introduction to the BIDLathon?
No, you did such a great job of explaining everything. You went above and beyond giving the details to the bidlers. So kudos, well done. You could really see clearly with those cool shades that you have on. So, you got all the details squared away. And I think people have just about all the information that they need in order to start biddling. I would say that, definitely go to our Telegram, go to our Discord, ask questions if you have any. And we're there. I'm checking it pretty closely. Some of the other stewards are on there too. And, we're super excited to have you all come. And we're just like 43 days away. Like, holy crap. It's going to come up, like that. And it'll be here before you know it. And then we'll be in Denver for 2 weeks and it's going to be awesome. So, stay updated on our Twitter. We post all of our announcements and updates on our Twitter. So follow us there. Also, I see that we have a couple questions in the chat over here from our viewers. So what's up, everyone? Thanks for sticking around and hanging out with us. We have a question from Rico_Zonks, seven Zonks. All right. So the question is, do we have to be on site from the 23rd to the 2nd? So Jason.
Yeah. So I think so. I'll clarify this because I did say this earlier. Obviously not everyone can come and participate the entire time. We understand that if you have to have a little bit more financial means to be able to attend from February 23rd to the 2nd. The requirement in order to submit projects is that you have to be checked into the BIDLathon. So that requires you to be physically in attendance. So at some point, you're going to have to be in Denver. If you do not show up in Denver and you do not check in and your team isn't present, like as an entire team, then you cannot participate in bounty prizes or track prizes. So if you know that, say you're coming in on say March 1st, or better yet, February 29th. February 29th, just so everyone knows, is Mini Summit Day in BIDL Hub. So there will be 3 different mini summits happening in BIDL Hub. All the bidlers will be down on the floor. So everything mini summit is on Wednesday. So if you wanted to come in on Wednesday, but you could start working on your project on February 23rd at home. So your team of 4 people or 2 people or whatever it might be, you could start biddling at 10 a.m. on February 23rd, arrive on February 29th, check in, start working, submit your project on February 2nd, and go. So, yeah. So you'll have the ability to do that. So hopefully that answers that question. Does you think that answers the question, Drew?
Oh yeah, that answers
Just
the question.
I always like to make sure. So
Yeah, for sure. And don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Like go into the Discord, say, hey, I'm looking for teammates. Hey, I'm looking for 1 or 2 teammates. Go to other telegrams of different places. Go to our Telegram and say, hey, I'm looking for teammates. Like Discord, Telegram, even Twitter, are amazing places to find teammates. They're great places to find work opportunities. Like I actually found this opportunity being a steward for ETHDenver as a result of a Telegram message that I put out to a few other conference Telegram group chats. So utilize social media, utilize the community approach to find people that you vibe with and get to Denver together and have fun. We're here to support you every step of the way, but really going out there, finding your people, like just be a little more proactive about it and don't wait until the last second to be like, oh, well, I don't have anyone to biddle with. It's like, there are a ton of people that are in your position right now that are like, I really want to biddle, but I don't necessarily have people that I know who are going to be there, who I feel comfortable with, who I know have the chops. Like start doing that today. You have literally 6 weeks. So get the time, get the proactive approach going, and you will find your people. There's so many people in Web3 and you will find your tribe.
cool. I think there's a couple more questions here. So
Okay.
about early stage startups, does it mean we can come with a project already started before the event? So any project that's coming in that previously exists, you have to get permission to be able to do it. So you have to, like, what I'm looking for specifically is, what is it that you're specifically building? And it can't, and none of that code can pre-exist. So if it's a new feature that is a part of an existing project that is incorporating a sponsor bounty, or it doesn't have to include a sponsor bounty, I just want to know specifically what it is. And then you'll basically submit something to me that says, like, this is what we're proposing, this is what we want to do. I will have one of our Biddle Council members just look to validate that the code isn't there. And so we'll be kind of like in I guess you could say, more of a dating relationship, to where you have to kind of tell me what it is that you want, and then it has to be approved. So we want to make sure that there's a level playing field, and we're not like one team comes in and they have this, everything's created and everything's ready to go, and people end up being frustrated that one person came in with a complete project. So we're trying to keep a level playing field. And 100%, we've had teams come in that had a pre-existing project. They wanted to add a special feature by integrating, say, Wallet Connect, or they wanted to integrate, what was it? We had layer 2s last year. People wanted to integrate that. So if you want to do integrations or things like that, you just have to make it really clear. Otherwise, the best approach is just come up with a new idea. Maybe it's done by the same team, but you just call it something new. That's probably the safest bet. All right. This is one that I expected. Can we pitch as a solo builder? So again, ETHDenver is about collaboration. We're about doing things as a team. We do not believe that, we believe that in order to build the decentralized future, we need to do this together in collaboration with each other. So to participate in ETHDenver's Biddle-a-thon, where you are presenting on a track stage in front of people, so in front of our community judges, you have to be on a team. And you have to be on a team that's focused on a single solo project. That is it. If you want to be focused on like creating multiple projects to submit to multiple bounties, you can do that, but you're not going to participate on the track stage. To participate on the track stage, we really want people to focus on one project, one idea that you want to solve. you can incorporate 10 bounties in it. So you're not missing out on the ability to work on bounties, but we really want focused ideas. So so to this question, no, you cannot pitch as a solo builder. Cool. Oh, look, it's Griff. I love Griff. Griff is great. I need Griff to give me our updates for impact and public goods for this year. So that reminds me, I gotta reach out to you. Cool. Are there any other questions, Drew, that you can think of that have come up in other places before we close this down and go back to preparing for ETHDenver 2024?
No, I don't think so. I will say that if you're planning on getting in on the 22nd, we have some options on Crew Fair. So it's a quick Google search, Crew Fair ETHDenver, and you'll be able to find the link. The link is also available on our website under lodging. So definitely check out our lodging partners at Crew Fair. Book your reservations, get them in ahead of time. The next couple of weeks, the reservations for lodging and airplanes are going to just start ramping up more and more and more. So do this ASAP. And again, apply to get your general attendance. It's free, and it's a really cool Web3 integrated process to register for the event. So do that today. We still have some seats available. So apply.
By the way, Drew, isn't there something that you're forgetting that I think I just reminded myself, like Biddle stories?
Oh, yes. So, my friends, Buffacorns, fellow countrymen, this week we will be announcing a really special campaign called Biddle Stories. So basically, this gives you the opportunity to talk about how biddling and ETHDenver has impacted your experience working in Web3. So the idea is that you would make a quick video and talk about your experience with ETHDenver and Web3 and how they all have come together. And then be featuring all these different stories of these biddlers on our social media pages leading up to the event. And we're super excited to highlight you because our community is the most important part of ETHDenver. Literally, we would not be anything without the amazing people and the camaraderie that is felt among, the spirit of the Buffacorns. So be on the lookout for the Biddle story, and we will be posting all the instructions, everything you need to download and get yourself caught up to what could be done and how we'll feature your story on our social media channels. So keep an eye out for that. It'll be coming in the next day or so. So yeah, super excited to see these submissions, and I'm very excited to be highlighting the biddlers on our social media channels and giving you all the attention that you deserve because you're all incredible.
Cool. Well, that's all that I have. I'm looking at our chat here. I'm also looking at Discord, not really seeing any additional questions that might be in existence. But be on the lookout for comms from Drew on Twitter and Discord. We'll have announcements around Biddler story. We'll have announcements around upcoming episodes around DAOs and communities, infrastructure scalability, DeFi, NFTs and gaming, identity, privacy and security, impact of public goods. So be on the lookout for that. Obviously, go to ethddenver.com/apply, get your ticket. And then once you have your ticket, go over to DevFolio and apply to Biddle. So we're really looking forward to seeing everyone. Thank you for joining us in this introduction to the Biddleathon. The recording of this will be available later, hopefully today, and that will be a resource for you. Otherwise, we will look forward to seeing you in February, 43 days away. So yeah, it's going to be great. And see you in the Discord, and come hang out with the mentors. And again, if you're looking to be a mentor, if you're looking to be a judge, those applications are still open as well. So just come and collaborate. So
let's go.
So with that, guys, have a great afternoon, and we will talk to you all very soon. Bye.
See ya.